Welcome to the Resilient Tourism Podcast Series, brought to you by EHL Hospitality Business School. This podcast is part of the Resilient Tourism Project, funded by InnoSuisse through the flagship program. Digital transformation isn't just about technology, it's about fostering deeper human connections. In Season 3, we explore High Tech for High Touch with leading experts, where we ask ourselves the following question. How can we balance technology and human touch in hospitality and tourism, where people are key to success? Today, Alessandro Inversini is sitting with John Leglise, the CEO of the well-known Sandoz Foundation Hotels. With over 20 years of experience in the finance sector and hospitality industry, John Leglise demonstrates international experiences that span across new businesses and the art of managing people and culture. His human-first approach is evident in his leadership at Sandoz Foundation Hotels, where he seamlessly blends tradition with modernity while maintaining high standards of hospitality. Enjoy the show.
So welcome everybody. We are here with John Leglise. John is the CEO of the Sandoz Foundation Hotel. Hi, John.
Hi.
And thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure to be here and have some minutes to talk about such passionate topics.
Fantastic, John. So now I've been introducing yourself, but can you tell us who you are, what you do, and can you tell us something we cannot find on your CV?
With pleasure. So, hello everybody. So I'm John Leglise. I'm the CEO of the Sandoz Foundation Hotels. I'm 48 years old. I have 3 kids, 2 marriage. And I have a background as a corporate finance. I worked 15 years for De Agostini Group, a family-owned company in Italy, where I had the chance to travel across Europe, starting new businesses, managing different cultures, people, synergies. So I'm really, I would say, enthusiastic about people, culture, and how you can make evolve companies in a powerful and strategic way.
That's interesting.
Yes.
In this podcast, we are trying to uncover this relationship between high tech and high touch, or high tech and human touch. So let's start from the high tech side. What is high tech in your business, in your hotels? Can you give us some examples of high tech in your hotels?
Yes, I would say, first of all, I cannot say that you could define high-tech in the industry because, of course, overall, each hotel needs to share an experience with the customers, with his own employees. So everyone has to find the right mix about what is high-tech for themselves in terms to position themselves as a brand. So in terms of technology within our hotels, for example, we don't have the same technology delivered on all the same hotels. We try to have the same technology as a base, but we activate depending on the different hotels. So technically, what we can find today in terms of technology in our hotels, you can have revenue management, dynamic pricing. You have in terms of HR, we have just started a full SIRH, so system of integration from human resources. We have the project of launching now learning management systems. You have robotics in terms of cleanings. You can have in terms of data analysis. You have a lot of different topics that allows you to support the activity that we have to deliver to our customers.
That's very interesting. And you mentioned robotics, you mentioned data analysis. We are witnessing AI really entering our jobs and our industry as well. How do you see high-tech evolution or technology evolution in the next 5 years from your position? It should not be only AI, but in general, how do you see the evolution?
What I would say the evolution in terms of technology is how each of us will incorporate technology to ease the work of our own employees so that they can concentrate quality time with the customers.
That's interesting.
We should never replace, depending on the branding, again, and the positioning that you want. We should never, I would say, separate or replace the interaction that we have. The interaction gives the soul, the technology gives the efficiency.
That's very interesting and comes to my next question, because we said it's high tech for high touch or human touch. So what is human touch or what is high touch in your business today? You mentioned already it's really about having this relationship with customers. But do you have any examples that you want to share with us?
Well, high touch basically is what gives soul to the interaction that you have with the customers, but as well with the employees. I really try to emphasize that we should not think only about customers, because the touch with the customers, the industry by default, is already high touch.
Yes.
When you come to luxury hospitality, everything is about high touch. And I don't believe that high touch will be replaced again. For me, the right split, again, is really to focus on what allows our employees to have quality time with ourselves inside with the management, to have added time, added value in our exchange, in understanding how much time we will spend. We need to remove all the administration. AI has the strength to remove administration, has the strength to provide some high-touch interpretation that you could implement in the communication with the customer, but will never replace it.
So what you're saying essentially is that also, if I can rephrase also the 5-year question for high touch, what you're saying is we need to evolve with technology in our industry. But technology is going to be a support for having a better human-to-human interaction. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And of course, the level of high tech that we will bring to the industry will depend on each other, because it's a mix that you have to decide. So depending on your segmentation, if you're a hotel, fully business, in an airport, for example, you will be high tech. You don't need a lot of high touch exchange. However, if you are really on a resort side, what makes the difference is the soul that you give to your customer, is the reason why they come back, is the reason why you provide them with memories, souvenirs. When, for example, what are the best memories or souvenirs that you have in hospitality, is not only the walls, is the people, is the interconnection that you had, and is the exceptional moments that you share throughout your life. It's your wedding, it's your anniversaries, it's elements that stay with you. Is when you see your kids jumping in the swimming pool of an hotel, you see the other guests suffering from the noise. It's fantastic moments, and this is what we need to bring. It's sincerity in the exchange that we have with our guests, but with our employees as well. For me, the big change now that we see is that technology brings us means to improve and to follow the development of our employees, which has been put a bit aside in the past. Of course, with the COVID and everything, we understand that people want to be better understood. And technology today, what we are focusing in Sandoz is really to try to put a platform where we hear our employees, we understand what are their goals. Some people, they come here for 2 months. We talk about turnover in the industry, but we have to accept certain turnover in some category of jobs. But there are other jobs where we need to valorize the people, and we put technology today to follow them, to put platform in terms of learning, in terms of career planning, and this is where we want to go, and this is where we will really focus. One element as well that we didn't mention yet is as well on terms of with the crisis about the energy prices, of course, and sustainability and CSR movement that we implement in the group. It's all the technology that is brought into the energy management system that tailor. It's as well cost-driven, of course, but it as well, in terms of sustainability, very important for our group.
That's very interesting because, again, I'm hearing from you, it's very important to develop technology. It's very important to follow what's happening outside there. Energy is a fantastic example, but also trying to get employees upskilled. It's another fantastic example. But what I'm hearing is technology is in the background. We, human beings, are in the foreground. We are the protagonists or the main characters of hospitality. There is another thing you mentioned that was very interesting for me, because you said, for example, business hotel may be more high-tech than high-touch. So Sandoz is a group that has got luxury properties, luxury restaurants, and so on. And you already shared your vision on that. But do you think that this high-tech for high-touch is for all SMEs in our industry, in hospitality, or it's only for luxury, it's only for business? How do you see this thing developing in hospitality?
No, I believe the technology, of course, is available and becomes more and more available at very reduced cost to all typologies of SMEs. So, of course, it depends first about the culture of the company, because when you cannot be a geek leader and have the full staff, the full management, which is not following and understanding the strategy and evolution. So the technology will grow step by step in all the industries in any case. The question is, depending on your size, you should not go too far to lose the contact with the customer and with the employees. And that's really the strategy that you have to decide and be clear in the selection of all the new technologies that you implement and incorporate in your daily life with your employees and with your customers.
So it seems to me that what you're saying, John, is technology will allow us to develop better experiences with our guests, or to...
Technology will help us to better understand the behavior of our guests.
Yes.
And here again, we need to understand in terms of data protection, how far we go and how far we allow ourselves and how far the regulation allow ourselves. But of course, it allows us to be very more responsive, fast, going in depth, to concentrate really on the exchange and human interaction. You know, when you have an employee, you come to Beau Rivage, you come at the reception, what is important is that our staff look at the eyes of our customers, not at the screen or try to find the papers. So we need to give this empowerment to have the connection with the customers. And technology in luxury hospitality should be in this direction.
If you would advise a new property coming into the market, luxury, let's say on luxury, on your side of the moon, if you would advise them in terms of high tech for high touch, what are the 5 main suggestions you're giving them?
First of all, is really to understand the segmentation, because when we see luxury, it always depends what is luxury. So you need to understand who are your customers and incorporate technology that correspond to what they expect. You should never have a mismatch. You should never go too much in front. Hospitality in our world, honestly, customers, they come, they want to have a relaxing experience. They want to have a smooth experience. They want connectivity to be very easy, but they want attention. And we should never forget this attention point. Now, of course, if you build an hotel from zero, what you need is to incorporate technology, as we explained, in energy, in movement tracking, in a lot of areas that when you have an historical building, it's very complicated to transit to. And this is what needs to be done, incorporate technology in new buildings with a way which is smart, because technology of today is not the technology in 10 years, so you can be as well stuck in an old technology. We need to be smart in implementing new means. You need to always understand what is the life expectancy of the technology and how you can jump from one generation to the next generation. So this is really, really important. That's why in our group, for example, we have started a committee for technology follow-up, where people inside our companies, which are really eager to understand what is the technology, new technologies in different areas, bring project, and we exchange on what can be incorporated to our different hotels.
That's interesting. So you mentioned in your, I'm just picking on your answer. You mentioned the you mentioned the building. You mentioned energy. Any other suggestion for a new GM in hospitality when it comes to technology, high tech and high touch?
Well, there is always the question about the domotic in the rooms. Domotic should stay simple. You see some groups that try to put too much domotic, and then the customers, you get in a room domotic that you don't have at home, and you don't know even how to close the windows. So it's really about the brand. You need to understand who you are, what you want to be for the customers. Then there is not an advice to say you need to go this way, you need to go this way. It's the brand. What do you want to be and what do you want to offer?
And it's the customer ruling. So it's the customer you want to serve.
Absolutely.
The most important thing.
Absolutely.
I love it. Now, I have one last question, and it's really about something we touched base on already. So I think that our future is going to be more and more defined by high tech for human touch, especially in hospitality. And we are a school of hospitality, and we are training the future generation of hospitality manager. What do you think are the new competencies that hospitality and tourism professionals actually need based on this high tech for high touch? And how can the industry attract and retain talents in this field?
I strongly believe that future leaders in hospitality, they need to be technically fluent and emotionally intelligent.
I love that. Talk to me more about this.
I believe you need to be eager to understand the technology, the evolution, and you need to track and follow. You need to be a geek to some extent. But in the past, geeks were geeks, and they were really in their cell, and they were not open to keep the emotions, the real exchange that you have between individuals. Future leaders, they need to have both. Because you need to understand the technology that implies without losing the connection, without losing the personality that you can bring. And those are the management skills that you need to develop in the right mix. So it's more complex. You need to work with different phases of the brain. But this is what we have to develop, and this is what we are working on in our group to develop step by step. So of course you cannot jump from one, I will say, equilibrium to a complete different one. You need to evolve with time, and it needs something that you need to learn, teach people, and exchange and understand where you want to go.
I think that we also have a big role to play in what you're saying as academic institutions, and really trying to understand that it's not everything about competencies, but it's also about this emotional intelligence that you're saying. It's also about creating meaningful relationships with customers and with the people in front of you, essentially.
Yes, I believe the main people, honestly, as a leader, you need to be emotionally strong and intelligent.
Yes.
And then you understand if you have weaknesses in technology, you surround yourself with people who can present you projects, and you have to decide about how far you can go without destroying this emotional intelligence.
John, this is fantastic. I think we are really tuned in on this even on this last point. Is there anything that I've been missing in these interviews? Anything you would like to share with us about high tech for high touch in your daily life?
Well, as I said, for me, basically, we should not try to say high tech or high touch is the right mixture of both.
Yes.
And how you can embed this in your daily life. When I go home, I'm the same. I try to have high tech with my kids. You know, you come home, they are all on the tablets, iPhone, smartphone, and you say, no, let's drop it. Let's make something exchange. Let's grow our relationship. And this is what is important, but we should never forget that industry evolves so fast that you need to be sensitive to the evolution, new technology in different industries. I would say hospitality is not highly in advance in terms of technology, of course, so we have to be sensitive and listen to what is happening, but we have to be really smart in the evolution that we want to present to our customers and our employees.
Fantastic, John. Thank you very much. It has been fantastic to having you on this podcast series. And again, thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to share those elements and ideas and projects together.
Thank you very
Pleasure.
much.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. We hope you enjoyed our insightful conversation with John Leglise, the CEO of Sandoz Foundation Hotels. Stay tuned for more episodes on High Tech, High Touch, featuring leading experts of the field. See you next time.